It was a quiet Saturday morning in March. I was making coffee in my small apartment, enjoying the silence that came with living alone. At 32, my life as a software engineer was stable but predictable. Then the doorbell rang. My sister Rosalind stood there with her two kids, Mia and Caleb, each carrying a small backpack. She needed me to watch them for a few hours, she said. But she would not look me in the eyes. She hugged them too long. And I noticed a large suitcase in her back seat. Before I continue this story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If you have not already, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. What happened next changed my life forever, and I think you need to hear this. Let us get into it. Rosalind drove away quickly, almost like she was running from something. I did not think much of it at first. My sister had always been the type to ask for favors without much explanation. She was 3 years older than me, and ever since our parents passed away a few years back, she had been going through a rough patch. Divorced, working 2 jobs, raising 2 kids on her own. I figured she just needed a break. Mia was 8 years old, a quiet girl with big brown eyes that always seemed to be watching everything. Caleb was 5, a bundle of energy who could not sit still for more than 2 minutes. They settled on my couch, and I turned on some cartoons for them. Everything seemed normal enough. I made them sandwiches for lunch. Peanut butter and jelly for Caleb, ham and cheese for Mia. They ate in silence, which struck me as odd. Kids their age usually chattered non-stop. Mia kept glancing at the door like she was expecting someone to walk through it. Caleb stayed close to his sister, practically glued to her side. By 3 in the afternoon, I started wondering when Rosalind would be back. I called her phone. It rang and rang, then went to voicemail. I left a message telling her to call me back and let me know when she was coming. No big deal, I thought. She was probably busy with whatever errand she had to run. By 6 in the evening, the sun was starting to set, and my sister still had not returned. I called again. Voicemail. I sent her a text message asking if everything was okay. No response. A small knot of worry began forming in my stomach, but I told myself I was overreacting. Rosalind could be flaky sometimes. She would show up eventually. I ordered pizza for dinner because I had not planned on feeding 2 kids, and my refrigerator was pretty empty. Mia picked at her slice quietly, while Caleb devoured 3 pieces. After dinner, I tried calling Rosalind again. Nothing. That is when Mia looked up at me and asked a question that made my blood run cold. "Do you think Mom is coming back?" Her voice was calm. Too calm for an 8-year-old asking about her mother. There was something in her eyes, a knowing look that did not belong on a child's face. I forced a smile and told her of course Mom was coming back, she just got held up somewhere. But Mia did not look convinced. She just nodded and went back to staring at the television screen. That night, I set up the couch with blankets and pillows for the kids. Caleb cried for almost an hour because he wanted his mom. Mia held him and sang a lullaby in a soft voice like she had done this many times before. I sat in my bedroom, phone in hand, calling Rosalind over and over. Every call went straight to voicemail now. Her phone was either dead or turned off. I could not sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what was going on. I checked Rosalind's social media accounts. Her last post was from 3 days ago, a picture of a sunset with some generic inspirational quote. Nothing unusual. Nothing that explained why she had dropped her kids off and disappeared. The next morning, I woke up early and tried calling again. That is when I discovered something that made my heart stop. The call did not even ring. It went straight to a message saying the number was not accepting calls from my phone. I tried again, thinking it was a mistake. Same thing. My sister had blocked my number. I grabbed my laptop and logged into my work phone account, dialing her from that number instead. The phone rang twice, then clicked off. She had turned it off completely. This was not an accident. This was not her being busy or forgetful. Rosalind had deliberately cut off contact with me. I sat at my kitchen table staring at my phone, trying to process what was happening. My sister had left her children with me and then blocked my number. What kind of person does that? What kind of mother does that? Mia walked into the kitchen still in her pajamas. She looked at my face and seemed to understand immediately. "She is not answering, is she?" she asked. I did not know what to say, so I just shook my head. Mia nodded like she had expected this all along. "Mom has been acting weird for a while," she said quietly. "Ever since Derek came around." That was the first time I heard that name, and it would not be the last. I needed answers, so I decided to go to Rosalind's apartment. I loaded the kids into my car and drove across town to the complex where she lived. It was a modest place, 2 bedrooms, nothing fancy but decent enough for her and the kids. I had helped her move in about 2 years ago after her divorce. When we got there, I noticed something strange immediately. Her parking spot was empty. Rosalind drove an old Honda Civic, and it was always parked in the same spot. I told the kids to wait in the car and walked up to her unit on the 2nd floor. I knocked on the door. No answer. I knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing. A neighbor across the hall opened her door and poked her head out, an elderly woman with curlers in her hair. "You looking for the lady in 214? She asked. "Yes, that is my sister. Have you seen her?" The woman shook her head. "She moved out last week, honey. Saw her loading boxes into a truck with some man. Thought it was strange she did not say goodbye. She was always friendly." My stomach dropped. "Last week, are you sure?" "Positive. It was Tuesday. I remember because that is the day my shows come on, and I was watching through the window during commercials." I thanked her and walked back to my car in a daze. Rosalind had moved out a week ago. She had planned this. She had packed up her entire life and left, and then she had dropped her kids off at my place like they were unwanted furniture. Back in the car, Mia could tell something was wrong. "The apartment is empty, is it not?" she said. It was not really a question. "How did you know?" "Mom was packing boxes for weeks. She told us we were going on an adventure, but then she brought us here instead." I gripped the steering wheel, trying to keep my composure in front of the kids. "Mia, who is Derek? You mentioned him earlier." Mia's face tightened. "He is Mom's boyfriend. He showed up about 6 months ago. He is not nice." "What do you mean he is not nice?" "He yells a lot. He does not like me and Caleb. He told Mom that we were a burden and she had to choose." Caleb, who had been quiet this whole time, suddenly spoke up. "Derek said we eat too much and take up too much space. He said Mom could never be happy with us around." I felt rage building inside me. This man had been poisoning my sister's mind against her own children. I did not know who Derek was, but I already hated him. Over the next few days, I did some research. I found Derek's full name through some digging on Rosalind's old social media posts before she made everything private. Derek Palmer. I searched for him online, and what I found made me sick. Derek had a criminal record. Fraud charges from 5 years ago, though he had served minimal time. He had been married twice before. Both marriages ended with his wives claiming he had stolen money from them and disappeared. He was a con man, and my sister had fallen right into his trap. I discovered that Rosalind had sold her car. Not the Honda I thought she drove, but a newer vehicle she had bought with the inheritance from our parents. She had also emptied her savings account, almost $15,000 our mother had left her. All of it was gone. My sister had been manipulated and drained by this man, and in her desperation to hold on to him, she had abandoned her own children. The days turned into weeks. My life was completely upended. I had to take extended leave from work because I could not leave Mia and Caleb alone. My small 1-bedroom apartment was not designed for 3 people. The kids slept on a pull-out couch in my living room while I tried to figure out what to do next. Caleb had nightmares almost every night. He would wake up screaming for his mother, and I would have to hold him until he calmed down. Mia dealt with her pain differently. She became withdrawn, barely speaking, spending hours just staring out the window. I had no idea how to help them. I was a 32-year-old bachelor who had never taken care of anyone but myself. That is when Linda came into our lives. She lived in the apartment next to mine, a 60-year-old widow with kind eyes and a warm smile. She noticed me struggling one day when I was trying to get the kids ready for school while simultaneously burning breakfast. "Need some help, sweetheart?" she asked, appearing at my door with a plate of fresh biscuits. From that day on, Linda became our guardian angel. She taught me how to cook meals that kids would actually eat. She showed me how to braid Mia's hair for school. She sat with Caleb when he had his nightmares and told him stories until he fell back asleep. I do not know what I would have done without her. 2 weeks after Rosalind disappeared, I finally received a message from her. My phone buzzed in the middle of the night, and I grabbed it instantly, hoping for some explanation, some apology. The message was brief and cold. "I am okay. Do not look for me. Take care of the kids for a while." That was it. No explanation of where she was. No mention of when she was coming back. No questions about how Mia and Caleb were doing. Nothing. I called her immediately. The call would not go through. I sent text after text demanding answers. Why did you leave? How long is a while? How could you do this to your own children? Hours later, she responded with just one sentence. "I need to live for myself for once." I threw my phone across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor. In that moment, I did not recognize my sister anymore. The Rosalind I knew, the one who had protected me from bullies when we were kids, the one who had cried at our parents' funeral and promised we would always have each other, that person was gone. In her place was a stranger who could abandon her children without a second thought. A month passed. 30 days of chaos, exhaustion, and heartbreak. I had settled into a routine of sorts. Wake up, get the kids ready, drop them at school, work remotely when I could pick them up, make dinner, help with homework, put them to bed, and then sit alone in the dark, wondering how my life had come to this. Then one evening, while I was scrolling through my phone, I saw something that shattered me. Rosalind had posted on social media. Her account was no longer private. And there she was, smiling radiantly on a beach in Florida, Derek's arm wrapped around her waist. The caption read, "Living my best life," with a string of heart emojis. She looked happier than I had ever seen her. No trace of guilt or worry about the 2 children she had left behind. She had posted multiple photos over the past few weeks. Fancy restaurants, beach sunsets, a picture of her and Derek in matching outfits at some tourist attraction. While her kids cried themselves to sleep every night, she was on vacation. I did not realize Mia had walked up behind me until I heard her soft voice. "That is Mom." I quickly tried to close the app, but it was too late. Mia had seen everything. I braced myself for tears, for screaming, for some kind of breakdown. But Mia just looked at the screen with an expression that was far too mature for her 8 years. "I knew she was not coming back," she said quietly. "She always loved herself more than us." I did not have words. What could I possibly say to make this better? So I just pulled her into a hug and held her while she stood there stiff and silent, refusing to cry. After weeks of trying, I finally got Rosalind to agree to a video call. I told her I needed to discuss the children's medical insurance and school paperwork. I knew she would not call just to talk to her kids, but she might call if there was administrative stuff to deal with. When her face appeared on my screen, I barely recognized her. She had lost weight. Her makeup was heavy, almost like she was trying to hide something. She was sitting in what looked like a fancy hotel room, all white linens and modern furniture. "Make it quick," she said. "Derek and I have dinner reservations." "Rosalind, what is going on? You cannot just abandon your children." She sighed like I was being dramatic. "I am not abandoning them. I am taking a break. I spent my entire 20s raising those kids. I gave up everything for them. My career, my social life, my dreams. I deserve to be happy." "They are your children," I said, my voice rising. "Mia cries herself to sleep. Caleb has nightmares every single night. They need their mother." "They have you," she said simply. "You are single. You have a good job, you have a stable home. They will be fine." I stared at her through the screen, searching for any trace of the sister I once knew. "Do you even hear yourself right now? You sound like a stranger." Something flickered in her eyes just for a moment, but then it was gone. "I have to go. Derek is waiting. I will send you the insurance information later." And just like that, she ended the call, mid-conversation, while I was still talking. That night after the kids were asleep, I sat alone in my dark living room and cried for the first time since our parents died. I cried for Mia and Caleb, who deserved so much better. I cried for my sister, who had somehow lost herself so completely. And I cried for myself because I did not know how I was going to fix any of this. The next morning, I woke up to Mia standing beside my bed. Her face was serious, her brown eyes searching mine. "Are you going to leave us too?" she asked. In that moment, something shifted inside me. All my self-pity and confusion and grief crystallized into something else entirely: determination. These children did not ask for any of this. They did not deserve to be abandoned by their mother, and then left wondering if their uncle would abandon them too. I pulled Mia onto the bed and called for Caleb to come join us. When they were both there, I looked them each in the eyes and made a promise. "I will never leave you. Do you understand? No matter what happens, no matter how hard things get, I am here. I am not going anywhere. I promise you that." Caleb threw his arms around my neck. Mia hesitated for a moment, then hugged me too. And in that embrace, I found my purpose. I called Patricia that same day. She was a lawyer, an old friend of my father's who had handled his estate when he passed. I explained the situation and asked her what my options were. "You can petition for temporary guardianship," she said. "Given the circumstances, with documented abandonment and evidence that the mother is unfit, you have a strong case." I spent the next several weeks gathering evidence. I saved every text message Rosalind had sent me. I took screenshots of her social media posts, showing her on vacation while her kids were in my care. I got a written statement from her former neighbor confirming that she had moved out and left town. Patricia filed the paperwork and we waited. 3 months after Rosalind had dropped the kids at my door, she suddenly reappeared. I came home from picking up the kids at school to find her sitting on my doorstep. She looked terrible. Thin, pale, dark circles under her eyes. The glamorous woman from the vacation photos was gone. "Derek left me," she said, her voice hollow. "He took all my money and disappeared. I have nothing." "I want my kids back," Rosalind said. "I made a mistake. I want to fix it." I set down my cup and looked at her. "You cannot just take them back, Rosalind. I have legal guardianship now. The court granted it last month." Her face twisted with anger. "They are my children. You cannot keep them from me." "I am not keeping them from you. You can visit them whenever you want, but I am their guardian now. They live with me. They go to school here. They have a stable home here. I will not let you uproot their lives again just because your boyfriend dumped you." "I will fight you in court," she threatened. "Go ahead," I said calmly. "But you should know that I have documentation of everything. Every text you sent, every social media post, statements from witnesses. The court has already seen how you abandoned your children for a man you barely knew. Do you really think they will give you custody now?" Rosalind stared at me, and for a moment I thought she might explode. But then the fight drained out of her. She slumped in her chair, defeated. "I messed up," she whispered. "I know I messed up. I was so tired. And Derek made me feel alive again. He made me feel like I was more than just a mom." "Those kids loved you," I said. "They would have given you the world if you had let them, but you chose a con man over them, and now you have to live with that." That was almost a year ago. Life has changed dramatically since then. The court made my guardianship permanent 6 months after Rosalind came back. She did not fight it in the end. I think some part of her knew the kids were better off with me, even if she could not admit it out loud. Rosalind visits once a month now. She got a job at a retail store and rented a small apartment across town. She is slowly putting her life back together, though I can tell she still carries a lot of shame. Our relationship is not what it used to be. There is a distance between us that might never fully close, but I have learned to accept that. I do not hate my sister anymore. I tried hating her for a while, but it was exhausting. Carrying that anger around was like drinking poison and expecting her to get sick. So I let it go. Not for her sake, but for mine, and for the kids. They need to see that it is possible to move forward without bitterness. Mia is doing better these days. She smiles more. She made friends at school. Last month she started taking art classes, and she has real talent. The quiet, withdrawn girl who showed up at my door is slowly blossoming into a confident young person. Caleb still has bad dreams sometimes, but they are less frequent now. He joined a soccer team and discovered he is actually pretty good at it. Watching him run around that field laughing with his teammates makes everything I went through worth it. Linda is still our neighbor and our unofficial grandmother. She comes over for dinner at least twice a week, and the kids adore her. She told me recently that helping us has given her life purpose again after losing her husband. I guess we saved each other in a way. People sometimes ask me if I regret taking on the responsibility of raising 2 kids that are not mine. The answer is always the same. They are mine now. Maybe not by blood, but by choice. And that choice is the best one I have ever made. I learned something important through all of this. Family is not just about who you are related to. Family is about who shows up when things fall apart. Family is about who stays when leaving would be easier. My sister gave birth to these children, but I am their family now, and they are mine. Rosalind taught me something too, though she probably did not mean to. She taught me that people can lose themselves. Good people can make terrible choices when they are hurting or scared or desperate. That does not excuse what she did, but it helps me understand it. And understanding has brought me more peace than anger ever could. If you are watching this and you are going through something similar, I want you to know something. You are stronger than you think. Those kids in your life, whether they are your children or your nieces and nephews, or just kids who need someone, they need you to not give up. They need you to be the person who stays, and you can be that person. I know you can. Because if a 32-year-old bachelor with no parenting experience can figure it out, so can you. So that is my story. My sister left her kids at my house one day and just vanished. But what she did not know was that she was giving me the greatest gift of my life. 2 amazing children who made me a better person, and a purpose I never knew I was looking for. I want to hear from you now. Have you ever had to step up for someone in your family? Have you ever been abandoned by someone you trusted? Share your story in the comments below. Let us support each other. If this story touched you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these videos. And if you have not subscribed yet, join our community so you do not miss future stories. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being here. I wish you strength, patience, and the courage to choose love even when it is hard. Take care of yourselves and each other. I will see you in the next one.